Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Deziel and today I'm doing with you the assembling of the Dolman top, the asymmetric one that I proposed to you in my Etsy boutique. You'll see that it's a very simple garment to sew. It's ideal for beginners. Here's my asymmetric dolman top. Very easy to cut since there's only two pieces to cut. One main pattern piece for back and front, the same thing. So we cut one pair, and you have the sleeve piece that you need to cut double also. One for the left side, one for the right side. Very simple to sew. The little surprise that you might have is how much fabric you need because it's a very large piece. So you need more or less twice the length of the top. Now the first step is going to be to assemble the shoulder together. Place your fabric right side with right side. You could see that you have sleeve on both sides. They're not identical, but you still see the sleeve area. We'll sew the shoulder on both sides. Now that both shoulder seams are done, we're going to open the bodice part. And you're going to take your sleeve piece and place it right side with right side. You will see that the part that has to be sewn with the top has a notch to match the shoulder seam. We're going to sew the sleeve to the bodice the same way on both sides. Now, just one little point that might happen to you once in a while with knit fabric is that the fabric is rolling at some place. Just like over here, you could see that the fabric is rolling. Sometimes it's rolling towards the right side, sometimes it's the opposite. And also, it always depends on the side that you want to use because some people like better the wrong side of the fabric. My point now is not to tell you which side to use. It's only to say that if it does roll where you're sewing, take your time to do the seam and place it. Just go little by little unrolling the fabric to do a nice seam. Now the third and last seam before the finishings, we're going to do the underarm seam. It's one seam that starts at the bottom of the top and go all the way to the bottom of the sleeve. So very long seam that we will do on both sides of the top. Remember, when we get to an intersection of seam allowance, send one seam allowance towards the bottom, the other one towards the top, so you reduce the thickness. Now I'm going to remove the left needle on my overlock. So I'll change the 4 thread to a 3 thread. Here I kept my top on the wrong side, so it'll be easier for me to go all around my wrist, the neckline, and the bottom. At the end, you just go a little bit over where you start. Then lift the foot, push the fabric towards the back, put it back down, and continue your seam just for a little while. There you go, the seam is straight, all even. Maybe you noticed that all the way I did hold my fabric because the fabric is stretched and it's a little heavy. So when you have a big piece like me, just to make sure it's not going to stretch and wave your seam, help your fabric or your machine a little bit. if you do have a cover stitch machine for your finishing, you don't need to do the overlock at this point for sure. I don't have cover stitch, so I got the habit of doing overlock 3 thread, folding, and do my seam or at the plain machine with tiny stitch, or sometime using the zigzag but very stretch, almost straight. And now we're going to do the finishing, the neck, my 2 wrists, and the bottom. Then remember to reverse the seam allowance where you fold. Also, notice that I don't do back tag at the beginning or at the end. When I'm done, I just continue for a little while over the beginning of my seam. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I see you next time.